about AI in this video, and specifically using AI to build your next AI MVP. Say that again? Yes. Use AI to build your next AI MVP. And obviously, if you're a marketer, you know that an MVP is a minimum viable product. What does that mean? If you're not a marketer, well, an MVP is usually the first product or the first version of a product that any startup or new project will bring to the market in order to see its feasibility, whether or not it has any traction, whether or not it gets any sales, what kind of revenues and profits it's able to generate, and what kind of user base it's able to grow, what kind of loyalty, retention, all that stuff, right? MVP is the first version of the product, and usually when it comes to goods and services in the tech space, that means that there's going to be many iterations of it. So that's why it's important to have a strong MVP so that you can get out to the market with something that you can say, okay, we made our best effort to get the best possible product out, and here's what it is, here's what the features are, here's how it operates, this is what the users thought of it. And yet, the better the product, the better the user feedback will be, the more you'll be able to learn from what people tell you about the user experience, the user interface even, and overall what the quality of that experience is, and whether or not the customers that you manage to attract are favorable to it, whether they like it just once, multiple times, or whether they've even decided to become longer-term customers, lifetime customers, etc. So, how do you use AI to build your next AI MVP? Well, at a basic level, you can literally use AI to code, right? In fact, one of the very first things I did with ChatGPT when it first came out was actually to build a large language model using that tool. So literally, the kind of proof of concept was to use an LLM AI chatbot to build an LLM AI chatbot. Now, was it perfect on the first attempt? No. Were there many tweaks necessary to be made? Yes. But did it work? Absolutely. In fact, there still may be videos of how I did that on my channel if you look back and around Q4 of 2022, and you'll see that there were indeed a number of hiccups along the way in terms of getting that done. However, it was certainly a lot faster than hiring the work out to a software developer to get it done, because it was done in a way that anybody with basic knowledge of code could understand and edit and make enough reversions to get it working. Now, was it perfect? Like I said, no. Did it have essentially basic features? Yes. Did those basic features work? Yes. Was it a solid proof of concept that you could use an AI to build an AI? Yes. Was it proof of concept that you could use an AI to build an AI product that could be marketed as an MVP? Pretty close, yeah. It was solid enough to build an AI model, an AI tool that would let you run queries and get useful answers just like you could on ChatGPT. The only missing elements were, the various marketing interfaces, creatives, website, etc., in order to actually, promote the product. Right now, I could have used AI to build those tools, and in fact, I did as part of the demonstration and the examples. So I built the tool itself using AI, and then I built a simple little website using the AI, right? So I managed to get the AI tool that I created to build a website that would promote itself, a marketing website essentially, but it was also a website that people could log into and could sign up to the service, and it was free. I added a payment model there that people could pay with Bitcoin or with PayPal or with credit card, although I didn't activate the merchant ID for the credit card payments directly, other than just using PayPal, only because it was just for an example. But you could see that by building that, it worked great. And I also had the AI that I built create creatives, text ads, long form copy, short form copy, social media marketing messages, and even give queries for creating images and video and audio that could all be used, mixed, remixed, edited in order to run ad campaigns to promote the AI model that I had built. Now, did this proof of concept, run like wildfire? No, because I didn't focus on it to run like wildfire. It was an experiment to demonstrate that it could be done. Was it successful in proving that it could be done? Yes. Did I launch it as an MVP? No, I launched it as a test MVP, you could call it, I guess, where I put it out there for people that work with me, the clients that know what we're doing in that space, for them to see for themselves that we could use this technology to help them increase their marketing success by having ads created quicker, by having marketing messaging created quicker, by building websites, whether they're mini sites or full-blown sites. You could use these tools for that. And then I offer to them also the ability to create larger websites with full-blown back-end tools, affiliate systems, referral systems, and all that, using other AI tools that exist that let you do that. And I've also made videos about that on my channel, where I've mentioned and listed some very useful AI-based tools that let you basically create from scratch or clone existing websites in the space that you're looking at and edit them for your purposes. So for example, if you're selling bicycles, it will look at the most successful bicycle websites that it knows of, or you can tell it to look at one specifically, and it will create essentially a clone of that, only it will replace all of the differentiating factors apart, obviously the name and the logo, things like that. It will edit the text so that it's unique, but apart from that, it will also differentiate your site by changing around some things that are not going to affect the UX in a negative way, and yet will give it a unique flair. So there are tools that allow you to do that already since a couple of years or more, and they're very useful because they can save you a lot of time in development, and they can let your Developers actually work on more advanced features. Now, would I say that at this stage in 2024, you can just use AI and you don't need software developers to make world-class products? No, I wouldn't. No. Human developers are still incredibly necessary and will remain in high demand for the foreseeable future, because the bottom line is that as good as AI tools are, you still need to edit and tweak and manage the information that it produces correctly. And it takes a sharp, keen-eyed developer to really spot the errors that it creates and correct them properly in an optimized way. So it matters a lot that you don't depend and rely, even if those AI tools are highly efficient for many tasks. Now, that's not to say that at some point in the future, more and more developers won't be effectively prompt engineers. Well, it depends, right? Can they build applications faster than AI models? Again, it depends. I would say in general, yes. Right? Yes, you can quickly build the bare bones with an AI very quickly, very, very quickly, right? But it doesn't necessarily save you much time or any time, and can in fact be more time costly than actually coding it from scratch at present, because of all the edits that you need to do when you find little errors or things that don't necessarily work. It might be coded properly in general, but that might not specifically work with your platform. So what does that mean? Well, different servers have different requirements, different capabilities, different specs, and so you need to be able to get the AI code, the AI generated code, tweaked for your specifications. And again, even if you tell it all of your specifications, it may not necessarily know how to do that perfectly, right? Even if you use an AI that is able to see the very latest in code on the web, is able to search the latest, GitHub or whatever, it's not necessarily going to implement the code exactly up to your specifications, and it is highly probable that you're going to use some time manually editing the code that's generated by the AI. Now, is that overall a bad thing? It's really not. It really just shows you that we're at the cusp of, or the beginning of, this whole age of using machines to generate machines. Right now, of course, in robotics, people have been using machines to generate machines for decades, right? There are machines that make semiconductors, right? Now, there are even machines that make other machines. But there have been machines that make semiconductors literally for decades. And so in that sense, you could argue we're already in that age where we use machines to make machines since a very long time. And in fact, a lot of the data gathered, analyzed, and processed and learned since that time have enabled this age of not just large language models, but actual artificial intelligence. Because in case you don't know, large language models really are not artificial intelligence, right? They market themselves as such, but it's not actually true, right? Large language models are basically machine learning, right? They're processing information that they've read that they've scanned, and they're interpreting it and then reinterpreting it and giving you a different version of some amalgam of what they've read, right, to give you a quote-unquote unique answer. But they're not really always very unique. Very often you can see the similarities from one set of queries to another if you ask the same question on different devices over time, etc. Then you can see essentially that it is not necessarily giving you, unique information. Now, you could say, well, it changes the order of the words, that's unique. Yes, technically, you can argue that. But if you want to be real and honest about it, then you know that AI models are far more advanced than that, right? And the thing that we call AI now, in the parlance of the layperson, is really not. And so, can you really use these tools, which are effectively machine learning tools, to build other machine learning tools? Yes, as I've just explained. But can you use these machine learning tools to actually build AI tools? And the answer is actually yes, right? But what you can build with it is, as I said, still requiring human intervention to tweak the code, edit the code, etc., to make it a working product. And the efficiencies of scale that are essentially hypothetical are not yet fully actualized. Now, the good news is that over time, we've seen the improvements in these large language models actually get faster, right? Because of the amount of users using it, the amount of efficiencies brought into each subsequent version, the amount of improvements in terms of response time, quality of answers, all those things have improved. And they are on course to continue to improve at the moment. Now, will they forever improve? Well, maybe, arguably, probably. However, not necessarily, right? It could be that we might get to a point where the improvements may plateau because we will have developed such efficient models that eventually it may even be that the AIs are doing their own work. By the way, there are tools that have automated AI, which means they do their own scheduled list of tasks routinely, and in theory, they can develop their own list of tasks without human intervention. So they can not just take your initial request and manage that and run it routinely, but they can even adapt as the time moves to change the tasks that they need to do as time moves along in order to be more efficient in getting those tasks done, right? And reprioritize the tasks in order to get the most important ones done, and determine whether or not certain tasks can be dropped because they are not efficient and they are not a priority and they are not giving you a good ROI. They're effectively a waste of time. Of course, sometimes it's good to do things that are a waste of time, like, for example, loss leaders, business loss leaders. You create throwaway items or throwaway advertising, where if you manage a huge brand like Coca-Cola or McDonald's, it's always the two top examples, right? Those brands literally run hundreds of millions of dollars a year each just in advertising that's considered unnecessary. They do it in order to reinforce the brand to such a degree that the average person is effectively programmed to identify the brand and know exactly what it is that is being marketed, whether or not anything is actually being offered on sale. It's just there to impress the brand onto more minds more often, right? And in theory, an AI tool that would see such a thing might think, well, that's a useless thing to do. It's going to waste money, and therefore we're not going to do that. However, an AI device that's smart would understand, actually, if you have a brand with a budget that's capable of sustaining such forms of advertising and branding, then you should maintain the kind of advertising and marketing, proportionately within your marketing budget and advertising budget, just because it can, of course, do exactly what those huge brands do, which is to just add messaging on top of messaging, even after it's already been driven into the mind of the customer. So anyway, I just thought I would give you some examples of that so you can see for yourself and try them for yourself. And if you do, by the way, let me know in the comments below if you have any insights about using AI to build AI for marketing or other business needs.